What's up guys, and welcome back to another Surgical Tech Tips. I am sorry that I missed the video last weekend. I'm really trying hard to at least do one video a week. I like to give myself a schedule like that. And I missed last weekend, but I opened up some Q&A out in the community tab, and a lot of you guys went ahead and you asked some questions, great questions too, in that community tab. So let's go through that and have a little Q&A here. All right, so first one, I'm gonna go with the most liked question on this Q&A by Boy Young. He said, "This is a little weird, but I watch Grey's Anatomy and I'm just curious to know if there's that much love, lust, and sexual relationships at hospitals." From personal experiences, I have not seen any of that at all. I mean, there's a lot of dirty jokes going on in the hospital and in the OR, as you know, we're just all kind of twisted in the mind a little bit. But as far as love, lust, and sexual relationships and people having sex in one of the rooms, that's all Hollywood. It's not happening in normal hospitals at all. Definitely not. Second most liked question is from Tara K. It said, "Do you have to be thick-skinned for a job like this?" Short answer, yes. You have to be thick-skinned for a job like this. Not every day is going to be rainbows and unicorns, easy cases with your favorite surgeon. Other days you're going to be working with difficult surgeons, or other days you're going to be working extremely difficult cases. And it may not necessarily mean the surgeon is a difficult surgeon to work with, but put any type of surgeon into an extremely difficult case and it's going to be stressful for everybody in the room. So, yes, you do have to be thick-skinned for this job. All right, third question is from Val A, and she said, "What's the most difficult part about being a surgical tech?" That question can probably be answered differently by a multitude of different, surgical techs. Everybody will have a different answer to that. But for me personally, it's the amount of time that I have to put into work. Some weeks that I'm on call can be not so bad. Other weeks, I feel like I'm just, absolutely killed at work with the amount of emergencies that come into the hospital and the amount of surgeries that we have to do throughout the day, and sometimes night, even on into the morning. Sometimes they can get that crazy. So I will definitely say, without a doubt in my mind, the amount of time put into work is probably one of my big drawbacks. Next question, a little bit personal, but it says, "What's your wife's job and how did you guys meet each other or know each other?" My wife, she works in accounting at a law firm. She just does like a desk job, a 9-to-5 job. And oddly enough, we met on MySpace. Weird, and some of you might be too young to even know what MySpace is, but yeah, we met on MySpace. Let's see, Catherine Perez. "Do you feel like school prepared you for the actual OR? Sometimes I feel like when I go out in a few more months, I'll be like a fish out of water." Yeah, I mean, I feel like school prepares you as much as school can prepare you. It takes a long time it took me probably a solid year out of school until I felt like I was comfortable being in the OR doing surgery alongside, a surgeon. It takes a while to get over that feeling of like, what am I doing in here? So yes, school prepares you as best they can, but that comfortable feeling that you get being in the OR, that just comes with time. John Doe asked, "You say you're so tired that you couldn't make a video. How many hours did you work this week and how many hours do you work on average each week?" Some weeks are better than others. This past week we had it wasn't necessarily the amount of time I was working at the hospital. It was, you know, I worked maybe 50 to 60 hours last week. It was a pretty brutal week, I do have to admit. But I think the thing that zaps energy out of you are the cases that you do throughout the day. So that past week we had a ridiculous amount of emergency surgeries, and these types of surgeries were like dissections and like the really big complicated surgical procedures that take a lot of brain power to, you know, do. and these surgeries take a long time, so it zaps a lot of energy out of you. And couple that with coming home and getting my kids off to baseball and being at baseball practice until like 10 o'clock at night, or, you know, baseball games and stuff like that. It's just work life and family life really balled and rolled into one giant mess of a week last week. And my wife and I had like no time to ourselves at all. But it happens that way sometimes. Another question, Rouse0411. Good morning. How do you prepare for advanced laparoscopic surgery? Tips for doing tables, sutures, and all. Thank you. I have one great tip that I like to use all the time, and that has to do with my Mayo stand. I will set up my Mayo stand as normal with all of my instruments and everything, and blades, all that stuff, and then I will cover the Mayo stand with a towel. And then on top of the towel, I will lay my light cables, my camera cables, my insufflation tubing, all the stuff that I need to throw off of the field, I put on top of that towel. And what that does is when I pull up to the field and I start throwing things off, if I have a really grabby surgeon that just likes to grab a blade off my Mayo, he's not going to see that blade. He or she is not going to see that blade. They'll see the tubing there, they'll see the cords there, and they'll be like, okay, I'll help Shane throw this stuff off the field. I like to do that. You know, harmonic cords, bovies, all that stuff. I like to have the surgeon help me out with throwing all that stuff off, because as you know, doing laparoscopic cases, you've got like 5 to 6 different types of cords and tubes that you need to throw off the field and organize. And it's just so much easier if the surgeon takes, you know, 15 seconds out of the case in the beginning and just helps you organize that stuff. All right, I think that's going to be it. I guess I'll answer one more. Joe Mix, how did you find out about surgical technology? I found out through a medical club trip. I found out about surgical technology from my grandmother, actually. She was an OR nurse way back in the day, and she used to scrub cases. And she said when she was going into retirement, she noticed there was a lot of, you know, specialized training surgical techs that were kind of getting into the OR and taking that position from nurses. So, you know, that's how I was kind of brought up into surgical technology. I previously wanted to go into nursing. I dropped out of nursing school and just was doing regular jobs here and there for a while, for a couple of years, and decided to go back into the medical field, and surgical technology was my choice, and I am glad I made it. So that is it for the Q&A, guys. Thank you so much for asking questions on that community tab. It's pretty awesome that we have this community tab now. I guess it unlocks when you hit like 10,000 subs. So thank you so much for watching the video, sharing the videos, and liking them. It always helps the channel out when you hit the like button. And I will see you guys again in the next video. Bye.